Hello everyone and welcome to another video. Now playing Cyberpunk 2077 with the ultra settings and path tracing enabled looks fantastic. When the lighting hits just right there are some truly standout moments. Of course visuals like this come at a cost to your wallet and your frame rate. Not everyone has the latest and greatest graphics card, and this got me thinking about if and how we could slightly alter the appearance of the game without sacrificing performance. Maybe even run it on an entry level modern graphics card, albeit with more, dare I say, realistic visuals. We've all seen the mod videos, right? The ones recorded in 8K with a computer borrowed straight from NASA. Usually, ray tracing will be enabled and a combination of overcast weather, tweaked contrast and toned down colours will do most of the heavy lifting and help transform the game from this to something like this. Of course, my main focus today is affordable hardware, so any form of tracing, be it ray or path, is switched off for now. There is plenty more we could have done here for sure. High-res texture and NPC mods as well as some surface tweaks come to mind, but I think this is a decent starting point and one that shouldn't take too much of a toll, if any, on the RTX 3050, the GPU of choice for today's tests. Here is a list of what I do have installed. No other custom changes have been made, though the Weathermancer mod, which allows us to set the weather as we please, does have a few dependencies. All the necessary info is on the mod page. The main visual mod used, Nova LUT, uses a natural colour palette and brings lifelike tones to Night City. This is combined with the legacy ENV, which changes the lighting and weather, etc. I then added the Canon Preem Water mod, also created by Cyanide X, to give water a more murky look, as well as Nova Rain, which is more subtle and realistic. I wouldn't call the final result photorealistic, and these mods don't claim to be, but I think I've achieved the look I was going for. Night City and the Badlands look crisp and less saturated with more lifelike tones. It won't be to everyone's preference of course, but this is a good starting point for anyone looking to give the game a more true to life palette, I guess. But how well does it run on our 3050 and what sort of performance, if any, do we lose? For the settings I stuck with Ultra, this time enabling DLSS quality mode. The 8GB 3050 managed at least 60 FPS most of the time, and this only improved outside of Night City. I ran a custom benchmark route that took us down a busy street and found that performance here was actually pretty much the same as before, which means that you should be able to make the same changes as I have without any frame rate sacrifices. I was hoping that this would be the case, considering that Nova LUT is essentially tweaking how the game looks on the surface and doesn't put any extra stress on our PC. One of my favourite shots was this one, taken during a sandstorm. Now as you might expect, neutral weather works best with the more neutral effects of this mod, but I really like how the colours looked here as well. Some differences are more subtle than others in comparison to the vanilla game, but it's interesting to see how different parts of the map are affected by making just a handful of changes. As I said before, your personal preference may differ. I like to think that the mods I've used do add a certain element of realism and achieve a look that you might be hoping for if you've watched some of the Cyberpunk lifelike graphics showcases. A look that can be achieved without high-end hardware at the expense of ray tracing. With that said, opting for an even more aggressive form of DLSS, this time balanced mode, will mean that we can experience ray traced visuals in all their glory using this card. I'm not even going to bother with the path tracing toggle though. There will also be some more noticeable dips and drops in performance because of the added strain RT puts on this entry-level 30 series GPU, but it does make for some really nice screenshots and there are no issues maintaining at least 30 FPS throughout. The performance once again is the same as you could expect from the vanilla settings. Maybe putting an FPS cap in place would make things feel a little more consistent if you want to enable some of the more advanced graphical options. I think throwing in a few realistic vehicle mods may help sell the realism as well, but that is of course entirely up to you. I like the in-game vehicles, so I've stuck with them here, but just an idea if you want to play around with some of these settings. But let me know what you think. I've not used any extra post-processing effects in editing, no depth of field mods or camera shakes, things like that, so what you see is what you get, aside from perhaps the reduced sharpness and clarity that comes with upload and compression. Leave your thoughts down below and hopefully I'll see all of you in the next one.